And joining us tonight to talk about COVID-19 symptoms after the President and First Lady have tested positive is Dr. James Baker. He's a professor of allergy and immunology at the University of Michigan Medical School. Dr. Baker is also a former member of the Council of Advisors for the Office of Science and Technology Policy during the Obama and Bush administrations. Doctor, thank you so much for being with us. We certainly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Talk a little bit about what you think the hospitalization of the president means. Should it be taken seriously, or do you believe it's truly just a precautionary measure? How are you reading the tea leaves tonight, sir?
Well, whenever someone the president's age gets COVID-19, you have to take it seriously. I think, though, that at the present, it is predominantly a precaution. The president's current symptoms, the cough, the fever, and certainly the lethargy are not surprising given the diagnosis. I think the big concern is whether or not he develops respiratory symptoms. And moving him to Walter Reed means that they can monitor his respirations very closely and check his blood to make sure that he's getting adequate oxygen.
Let's go through sort of a best case scenario, doctor. How long do you think the president is hospitalized? How long does this take to run its course? How long before he's back on the campaign trail?
So a truly best case scenario, the president developed symptoms yesterday that suggests that he was infected between 3 and 5 days ago. Usually it takes 14 to 21 days for a person to run its course uncomplicated. So I would guess that in 2 to 3 weeks, the president should feel better and should feel back to himself if he has a totally uncomplicated course.
Doctor, the White House put out information that the president had received some medication as a precautionary treatment. They said he got a single 8-gram dose of a polyclonal antibody. In addition, he has been taking zinc, vitamin D, melatonin, and also a daily aspirin. Walk us through what exactly that means, why they'd be giving it to him, and what the result will be.
Well, first, there are a number of things that are listed there that really are only suggestive to help. The real key are the drugs that they're giving him specifically for the COVID infection. The experimental one is an antibody cocktail that was developed by Regeneron Corporation in New York. This is actually an antibody mix that's totally directed against the virus. It's not like these serum transfusions that people have been getting. And it seems to be effective into binding and neutralizing and clearing the virus and helping people recover more quickly. There is some data from a clinical trial in that. I'm sure the president will also get remdesivir, which is the antiviral drug, and also get steroid therapy, both of which have been shown to help. So they're being very proactive. They're treating him before he develops any type of respiratory problem or any other complication. And I think that's a very good thing to do.
And Doctor, one more point. A lot has been made today about the president's health in terms of his being in a high-risk group, 74 years old, overweight, male, obviously 3 categories where this virus seems to thrive well and make you a little more vulnerable than in other people. Talk a little bit about that.
Yes, I don't have a personal knowledge of the president's medical condition. I can say that clearly he's in those risk groups. I think he has not been reported to have any prior heart disease or lung disease, and hasn't been reported to have diabetes, which are 3 other complications that are concerning. If you look at people the president's age that don't have any other complications, they have over a 90% likelihood of surviving the infection. So I think the odds are certainly in his favor.
Doctor, one final question for you. We know he has a very busy campaign schedule. We've seen him in multiple states at multiple events. How anybody can do that is challenging. Does that kind of activity deplete the immune system? And if so, if you get COVID when you've been so busy, you're tired, you're stressed, does that have a different impact on people, the president and others?
Well, it's difficult to say. Certainly if he was run down, if he had some other problems, if he had developed lung disease or heart disease because of the strenuous nature, that might change things. But just being tired shouldn't make a difference. This virus is very effective in making people ill, even when they feel totally well when they start. So I think the real key here is whether or not he has underlying lung or heart disease. If he doesn't, he should do well.
All right, Dr. Baker, thank you as always for your time. We will be in touch.
And there are some reports